If you're catching the replay, please hashtag replay to let me know you're here, because I like to know who watches the replays. And it's a way for me to get to know you as well when I start recognizing names. So I like to get to know my followers as well. So I hope that you'll hashtag replay if you're catching the replay. And I'm going to wait about 5 minutes before I start really talking, to allow people to get on here, because I normally do not go live Saturday mornings. But I am. I saw that Jason and Brooke are out of town, and I wasn't going to go live because they go live at 8 o'clock. But when I saw that they were out of town, I was like, well, and I got a little influenced. I'll tell you about that in a minute. Let me get my curling iron. Stephanie, how are you feeling? I saw your post that you were doing well. You'll have to probably get... Stephanie had neck surgery, so that's who I'm talking to right now. But Stephanie, they made me, after my neck surgery, I had to go get a TENS unit, and I had to put the TENS unit on my neck every day. I forgot what it does, something about healing. But you might have, they may send a physical therapist out to your house to get a TENS unit, just to let you know. It's these little electrodes that you put on the back of your neck, and it's supposed to heal your neck. I don't know. They may not. It's been a minute since I've had my neck surgery, so they may not do stuff like that anymore. But I had to have it done. Yeah, TENS units are wonderful. It really did help my neck a bunch. But I forgot, what does a TENS unit do? I forgot what it does. Is there any physical therapist on here that can tell us? What does a TENS unit do? I want to say it builds your bones or something. It's like a stimulator. It goes, but I don't know what it actually, the use of it is, but oh, it relaxes the muscle so it doesn't build the bone. I don't know where I came up with that. A TENS unit is something they use in therapy, like when you have surgery. It's what they use. I don't know. I have 4 plates and 8 screws in my neck, so I had to use TENS units after I had my surgery. So I saw Peaches on here, and I was like, oh my gosh, is Jason and Brooks Pig on here? Peaches done got on my live. Peaches, I'm not making fun of your name. Jason and Brooke from Cog Hill, their pig is named Peaches, and that's why I said that. It was really funny. Hey, sweet Kimberly. Happy anniversary in September, Kimberly. We've been married the same amount of time. You'll get better every day. Peaches, do you know what I'm talking about? I don't know if you follow Cog Hill. But when I saw your name, that's the first thing. I was like, oh my gosh, Jason and Brooke are out of town, and their Peaches done got their laptop. It's watching me live. Y'all have to tell Jason and Brooke the next time they go live, tell them that that Peaches got on my live Saturday morning. They'll be like, what? What are they talking about? Oh, goodness. It is, let's see exactly what the temperature is here. It is 15 degrees. It's 15 degrees and the high is 25 today. So, um, yeah. So it's going to be a fun day. But tomorrow the low is 13 and the high is 39. So we get above freezing tomorrow. So that's good. Yeah, I saw that. Wasn't going to go live because Jason and Brooke normally go live at 8 o'clock, and I wanted to watch their live. And when they said they're out of town and they're not going live, um, this little bird, this little bird, messaged me and told me she missed me and asked me. Wait, let me see her exact words. Let's see what she said. Hang on. I am having withdrawals from Judy. And so that little bird messaged me this morning and I said, okay, I'll go live. Jason and Brooke are out of town, so I'll go live. So I decided to go live from that little birdie that messaged me. All right. It's 8:30. Let's get started. Okay, let me give you a disclaimer because I normally do not go live on Saturdays. And there may be people new to my page or my channel, and they're like, who is this? Who is this girl? Okay, I would like to introduce myself because I do have a lot of new subscribers and followers. My name is Judy. Okay, I own a petting zoo here in Coleman, Alabama. And it may seem crazy, but I am not a farmer. I am now, but I've never dreamt of owning a pig or donkey. It's not like I was a little girl and I thought, oh, when I get older, I want to have 50 acres in the country and I want to have horses and pigs. And that was never in the equation of my thought process. When I was a little girl, I was into dance. That was my life. I wanted to make a career out of dancing. But let me just say something before I continue with that. I get ready in the mornings and it makes no sense at all. So if you're following me for the first time and you're like, you getting ready is stupid. Like, why do you do that? I do that because I'm open to the public. Okay. And so I can't necessarily go live when people are pulling in my driveway because some people don't want to be live on YouTube or Facebook, right? So I don't always get to go live when people are at my farm. So the only time I really have a chance to get up close and personally with y'all, to get to know y'all, is in the mornings. Well, I'm always in a hurry because my farm opens at 9 o'clock. And you got to keep in mind that I have to do farm chores before my farm opens. So the only time I have a chance to chit chat is in the morning, and I have to multitask. I'm severely ADHD. I can't just sit here and talk. Okay. Like it just doesn't work in my brain. If you have ADHD, you get me. Like you have to be moving your hands while you're talking. You've got to be like, we can't just sit still and go, good morning. Good morning. Today I'm going to talk about my pig. I can't do that. I'm very animated. I'm very kind of hyper, and I just don't work that way. So I work well when I multitask. So I get ready in the mornings with you guys, not to sell makeup, not to give you hair tips, not to do any of that. It makes no sense. I get ready in the mornings because that's the only time I have time to go live, and it helps me multitask. Okay. So I get ready and go live. When I take my glasses off, I become blind. Okay. Completely blind. Y'all knows I have a black eye. I don't know why I have a black eye, but I have a black eye this morning. I didn't fall. Bobby Joe's not here to knock me on my butt, but for some reason I woke up with a black eye. Anyway, if you're new to my page, so thank you for joining me on this live. I've been going live a lot more lately because we have had severe weather here in Alabama, and people have been messaging me going, Judy, are you okay? Judy, did it snow last night? Judy, is there black ice? Judy, are you able to get out of your driveway? So Kayla and I talked, and I decided to go live more often. And I decided to go live for several reasons. Number one, I appreciate you watching my videos and following me on Facebook, because we're in two places right now, right? We're on YouTube and we're on Facebook. And I welcome both of you. But in order for me to really get to know you too, is to go live, because that's where you get to see like, I can edit a video. I can make me look like a rock star, right? Like, I can edit a video and make it look like everything is just great and wonderful at Sneed's Farmhouse. But when I go live, I can't necessarily do that. Like, when people go live, it's the moment you really get to see the person's heart, their personality, because sometimes when you meet people, they're different in person than they are in a video, because we can edit. We can make music to the video. We can block out when we say something stupid. We can turn down the volume. We can create this video of a fantasy land, right? Like, once you start creating videos, you get really good at making your life look grand. But on my channel, I said when I became a nonprofit, which was in 2020, I had to set a goal. Let me say this. It's not a goal. When you're a nonprofit, you have to create a mission statement. And so my mission statement, people ask what this is. This is called Beach Wave. In case you're wanting to know, I forget to always tell y'all that. This curling iron is called Beach Wave. Anyway, so I created a mission statement, and I was like, okay, what do I want to accomplish with this farm? And I felt as though I was getting blessed left and right by God, because it was like, as my farm began to grow, I began to get better mentally. The farm provided healing for me. It provided healing for my dad. My dad has dementia. It provided healing for him. It grew mine and Shane's relationship, because we had to begin to work together to have one common goal, and that was to take care of our animals. Like, all these great things were happening in my farm. So my mission statement is to give back what God has blessed me with. And that is what I entail. That's my main focus on my farm. And if you've been following me a while, you probably have heard this story, but bear with us, because my farm is growing. My page is growing. So bear with us as I sometimes repeat myself with stories, because not everyone has heard my story. But basically, oh shoot. I jacked that one up. Hang on. I can't concentrate. I'm trying to multitask, and I'm not doing a good job today. I sit here and talk about multitasking, and I'm not that good at it right this minute. I got too much hair in my curling iron. But never when I started the Sneed's Farmhouse Sanctuary page on Facebook, I started it because I was going to sell chickens. Isn't that funny? That's what I started the page before I became nonprofit. Okay. So know that. I first started the Sneed's Farmhouse page because it was really funny because my friends and my family was like, Mom has chickens. What has Shane done to my mother? Like that's how it started. And so I thought it was funny because I would go into the chicken runs, and my goal was to see if I could catch the rooster. And I would record myself. I don't know if you can, you probably can't go that far back. I don't know, maybe you can. If you go to my Facebook page and go like from 2000, like 2020, you're going to see videos of me going into on my hands and knees, okay? Because my chicken coop wasn't a walk-in coop. And I would go in on my hands and knees and see if I could catch the rooster. And I thought it was absolutely hilarious that Judy Sneed was on her hands and knees in chicken crap trying to catch a rooster. And my goal was to see how fast I could catch it on my hands and knees. And I got really good at it. And my family members in other states, they would be on the floor laughing at me, crawling on my hands and knees, trying to catch a rooster. And that's just kind of like, I really kind of created it to sell chickens because I don't know. I learned how to incubate eggs, and I fell in love incubating eggs. And so I just wanted to hatch chicks all the time, and I can't keep them all, right? So I thought I would start selling chickens. So that's how it started, right? This city girl is crawling in chicken crap trying to catch roosters, okay? Just to make my family laugh. Because I'm all about majority of the stuff that comes out of my mouth, I'm kidding. Like, I'm just, I'm not serious. I tell people this. If I'm serious, I'm probably crying. Okay. Because the other time that I'm not crying, I'm joking. So it's one extreme to the other. So like I can't be serious without crying. It's just I don't know. If you follow me for a while, you know what I'm talking about. Like if I start talking serious about something, you better believe the tears are coming behind it. I'm just very I don't know, you call it emotional. Maybe I'm just a girl. You know how girls are, we're weird. Anyway, so I was going to sell chickens, and I became kind of popular selling chickens. Like people knew me for selling chickens. That's how I became kind of the chicken lady. And it was really funny because it was like, how in the world did I get known for being the chicken lady? Like, I'm not a chicken lady. Like, like, I'm this girl that, if you don't know too, my background prior to being a chicken lady was I worked for Verizon Wireless for a long time, and I was in business sales. So Judy wore business suits every single day. I had my hair pulled up. I had my little designer bag, and I was going into sales meetings to sell data to hospitals. My territory was selling to healthcare. And that's what I did. I was in business meetings every day. I was in heels. I was pretty much the provider for my family. And my entire life, I have worked 2 jobs. My entire life. And let's see. Let me think what year I started. I graduated high school in 1989. I'm going to say 1990, 1991. I started working 2 jobs. And I worked for when I first was in my 20s, when I got out of high school, I didn't want to go to college. I just wasn't college material. So I went to Jeff State, which is a junior college here. I went there and hated every minute of it. But I worked for Blue Cross Blue Shield. And I worked there for 8 years when I was young. And I did well. I hated the job. I was a customer service rep and had to deal with people chewing me out 24/7 for denying claims and crap. I hated it. It was stressful. But anyway, in 1991, I guess, I started teaching aerobics because it was my way of, let's see, how do I put this? It was my way of dancing. It was like I never made it to New York to dance. I don't know. My family never pushed me to do it. I don't really know why. Maybe they were like, she ain't good enough, you know. It's like, I mean, maybe that was it. But like from the time I was 5 years old, I was on stage dancing. I was on stage singing and dancing and stuff like that. And so then in high school, I was head of the dance line. I have to bring out some old pictures and show y'all. But I was head of the dance line. And then when you graduate high school, you're like when you do a arts, like when you do, like something that's not necessarily, it's more of a hobby versus a career. Like teaching aerobics is not really a career. I mean, it's hard to make a career out of teaching aerobics. It's hard to make a career out of singing. You know what I mean? So like when you're a singer in high school and everybody rap and raves about how great your singing is and you enter every talent show. Well, then after high school, you're like, well, where am I going to sing? You know what I mean? It was kind of like that. Like, where am I going to dance? Nobody cares. So I started teaching aerobics at Gold's Gym. And it's funny because no, I didn't start at Gold's Gym. I started teaching at going elementary school. I taught an after school program like for the mothers and the teachers and stuff like that. So I started teaching there. And then I just never quit because I loved it. So I taught aerobics from the time I was, let's just say 19, 20 years old. I taught until we moved here to Coleman 5 years ago. That's how long I taught aerobics. So how long is that? 1991 to 2019, I think. Anyway, a long time I taught aerobics and it was my life. And I ended up becoming the aerobic director at Gold's Gym. So I was in charge of hiring and firing aerobic instructors. I was in charge of training. We were able to put together a manual to teach aerobic instructors because if you're not a dancer, you probably don't know, but music moves every 32 counts. So a lot of people that are not musically inclined don't understand that, like when you listen to a song, it changes every 32 counts. And at the time, learning a 32 count was a big deal to aerobic instructor because if you didn't know a 32 count, you didn't really know how to teach aerobics. So I began to put together a program where I taught people how to learn I taught people rhythm. People that had no rhythm, I was trying to teach them rhythm. And I would put together classes to teach aerobic instructors how to teach aerobics. We used to travel to New York. We traveled to Atlanta for training. And it was a big deal. Like it was my life, even though it was an extra job. It was something that I put a lot of effort into. I had probably 18 certifications. I taught, let's see, I'll tell you what all I taught step aerobics. I taught like high-low, I taught Zumba. I taught resistable training. I taught arthritic classes. I taught fibromyalgia. I used to teach at Brookwood Hospital here in Birmingham, and I taught prenatal classes. I taught stroller classes. I used to teach in a therapy pool for people, like I said, with fibromyalgia, arthritis. I used to teach them. It was more like a physical therapy class. I taught kickboxing. I taught spinning. I taught yoga. I hated Pilates. I did get my certification in Pilates, but I didn't like it. But I was a big yoga instructor. I used to teach candlelight yoga. It was a big class. I taught double step aerobics. I used to train for marathons. I was a big runner. I used to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning with a friend of mine, and it would be so cold outside that we would have frost and snow on our toboggans, and we would be out there running like 10 miles on the weekends. I used to be a big runner. Let's see, what else did I do? I couldn't even run to my chicken coop now. I've changed a lot since then, but I was really into health and fitness, and really trying to help people. I used to teach like weight loss classes. I don't know. I can't even remember all I taught. If you ask me what my favorite thing to teach is, I would probably say step aerobics and yoga. Those were big deals. Those were my favorite. Those were things I felt like I was the best at. I didn't really like kickboxing, stuff like that. I taught all over, but mainly I taught for Gold's Gym for 10 years. And so that's where my love for dance and fitness and all that came about. I just loved it, and I put a lot of effort and a lot of training into learning about the body and what the body needs to be fueled, and like I still exercise those practices. Often I drink a lot of water and a lot of protein shakes. Yes, I taught line dancing. And my mother used to have me in square dancing. Me and my brother, Lord bless his heart, Mom had us in square dancing. There's not much that I've not done when it comes to dancing. But the line dancing, I was at the bars every weekend line dancing. I was the girl that was sober. I've said this before too, but I was the girl that was sober at the bars, and everyone would think I was like, "Oh my God, look at that girl. She's so drunk. She's dancing on the bars." Nah, sober's ever. I didn't care. I was up dancing, and people would think I was drunk. No, I'm sober. Anyway, so my life has totally changed. So if you're following me for the first time and you're like, wait a minute, how did a aerobic instructor become a chicken lady? You know what? It's to this day when I sit and that didn't go good. When I sit and think about how my life has totally changed, it brings tears to my eyes. You know how I tell you that I'm either joking or crying? It really brings tears to my eyes because I see how I tried something new, and I tell people this all the time. I don't care how old you are. You should try something new. You should, because you never know. It could be your passion. Like Shane is the one who said, Judy, let's get some chickens. And if you don't know the story, oh, shoot. I'm not doing good at this today. If you don't know the story, if you're new to my page and you're like, how did her farm start? So Shane said, we moved here to Coleman, and I did not know anybody that lived here. And I was taking care of my dad. I ended up not going back to work, and I was taking care of my dad. And me working 2 jobs my entire life to go to not working at all, I was going crazy. Like I can't. I wonder how I got this black eye. I don't know. Anyway, I was going crazy, just like sitting at home. I'm like, I can't do this. And Shane was like, yes, you can, Judy. Yes, you can. And um uh so he suggested Shane is y'all have seen videos. Shane is a country bumpkin. Okay. We total opposites. Okay. Okay. We're nothing alike. We are alike, but we're not alike. And so he suggested us get chickens. And I laugh because, oh, I missed a piece. I laugh because I said, when he said, let's get some chickens, I said, what do I want a chicken for? Like, I don't want no chicken. What the crap? They stink. And he said, we can get fresh farm eggs. And I said, I'm not eating an egg that comes out of a chicken, Shane. I hate to break it to you, but I am not eating an egg that comes out of a chicken's butt. Just saying. Just saying. And he laughed and he was like, where do your eggs come from, Judy? I'm like, well, I go to Publix. Once a week and I buy a carton of eggs and they're white and they don't have doo-doo on them, and I'm not eating that. And I will tell you, it took me about 2 years to eat an egg that came out of a chicken's butt. just let you know, okay? It took a minute, okay? But the day that I got chickens was the day that my life totally changed. And it just kept kind of going from there. You know, our property was wooded. And I called Shane's dad because this neighborhood dog attacked my chickens and killed them. And I was devastated because I'm going to tell you, if you don't have chickens, it takes 6 months to get them to lay. So you got to kill yourself to keep them alive for 6 months. And once you get past the 6-month mark, it's pretty easy. Like they don't just die for no reason, hardly. But I was really upset because the neighborhood dog had killed my chickens, and they were in the chicken coop. The dog got in the chicken coop and killed them all and didn't eat them, just left them dead. Like I came home, we'd gone out to eat. I come home, go to my chicken coop, and they're all dead in the chicken coop. And I literally lost it. I literally was like, this is the worst day of my life. So Shane goes, we need to put a fence around your chicken coop. So it was all woods where my farm is now. So I called my father-in-law because he has a skid steer. And I called and I sweet talked him. I said, will you please come clear this property so we can put a fence around my chickens because all my chickens died tonight? And he said, yes, I'll be there Saturday. Well, you know how men are. If you're a man, you get me. But like they get on the tractor and they just start knocking crap down. Like they're going to knock because they get on the tractor and they're in the zone. They're in their tractor zone. You know, if you have a cab of a tractor and there's music and air conditioning, like everything in your yard is going to be slapped, tore down. Now that's how it is in the Sneed's farmhouse. Like when Shane goes, I'm going to get on the tractor. I'm like, oh God, we're going to have every tree in our yard is going to be knocked down. Like everything's going to be knocked down because that's what men do. They get in the tractor and they get in the zone. And if they're not hot, they have a cab. Like they're not getting off the tractor until everything in your yard is literally plowed down. So my father-in-law comes here with this skid steer. And of course it has a cab. So he's in the air conditioning, right? So he's got his little water bottle. He's got his radio on and he's got the air conditioner on and he is going to freaking town. And he is knocking every flipping tree down on our property. Like I didn't even realize our property had that much level land because it was all woods. So all day long, he is knocking trees down, and I'm like, what is he doing? What is he doing? He's literally knocking every tree down. So by the end of the day, we have 3 acres cleared. And I was like, I was just talking about a little bitty spot for my chickens. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't mean 3 acres, but if he wants to clear it down, clear it down. So I blame a lot of this on my father-in-law, just saying, because he cleared 3 acres of land. And so when he left here, I said, Shane, he just knocked down every tree in our yard. So Shane said, we're going to put a fence around these 3 acres, or however, I don't know. I don't know if it's 3 acres. I'm just saying 3 acres. He goes, we're going to put a fence around. So then, like the next weekend, that same day, they got the skid steer and they drug my chicken coop into the middle of where he had cleared up on this hill. I was like, all right, well, I guess that's where my chicken coop is going. So, so then, covering up this black eye. Oh God, me and my black eyes. I don't get it. Anyway, so the next weekend, Shane and I went to Tractor Supply and we put up a fence around the whole 3 acres. And I thought, daggum, I can get all kinds of things. I could get, and then it was my birthday coming up. And so Shane built me this little goat barn because I had this family that needed to get rid of some goats. I didn't know the family, my brother did. And they were like, Judy, will you take these goats and rescue them? And I was like, Shane was like, I'll build you a goat barn. So Shane is just like his dad. When Shane gets in the zone of building something, by golly, it's getting built in 0.2 hours. Okay. Like he had, let's just put it like this. It was my birthday. I had gone birthday shopping for myself. Okay. I don't shop very often, but this particular day, Shane was like, go shopping. I didn't know he was building me a goat barn. So I went out and I started shopping. I don't know where I went anyway. And I come back and there's this daggum goat barn built. And I was like, he was like, happy birthday. And I was like, you built this in like 2 hours? And it is nice as ever. If you've been watching me a while, it was the barn that she had her babies in. I don't know if y'all remember what that looked like. I'll show you one day. But anyway, he built it in like 2 hours. Okay. It is this beautiful goat barn. So he goes, you can go rescue the goats. So the next day, we went and got 3 babies and a mama and a daddy. And so we had 5 goats. So we realized pretty quickly that our fencing that we did was not going to work very well. But we couldn't afford to put up a wooden fence yet. But for the most part, we kept them in. It's just every now and then, you know how goats are. They're going to try to get out of the fence. They're just going to try to get out. And we had grass and, it was nice. Well, then, let's see, what was next? Shane had a cousin. Shane had a cousin that had mini cows. And Shane always wanted a mini cow. Okay. You know how boys are. They want cows. They want big animals, So I called and I said, do you have a mini cow available? And she said, I have a bull. And so I told Shane, I was like, they have a bull. And Shane was like, we're going to get it. I was like, a bull? And he was like, yeah, we're going to get it. I'm like, okay, you know, okay. So Dexter came to our farm. I wanted they had named him Dexter. Dexter was registered and they named him Dexter, but I wanted to name him Buckshot. And the reason I wanted to name him Buckshot is because when I was a kid, my grandfather had a farm and every single bull was named Buckshot. Okay. Now, keep in mind that my grandfather had a cattle farm, which means Buckshot would always go to the slaughterhouse. But as a kid, I didn't understand that, right? I'm young. So what would happen is I would go out there, like I would spend the summers with my grandparents. I was very close to my grandparents. And I would spend the summer. So you have farm chores. So me and my brothers would go out to the barn and we would get hay and we would go feed the cows. And he would do this little thing where he'd go and he would whistle and all the cows would come running and we would feed the cows. And then, like, as a kid, like Buckshot would go missing and then all of a sudden we'd have another Buckshot. And I didn't understand. I mean, he never told me anything. I never understand. Well, one day when I started getting older, oh shoot, I just put powder all in my hair. One day we're sitting at the table and oh, look what I did. So one day we're sitting at the table. I don't know. We were eating hamburger steak or something. My grandmother had made something. And we were sitting there. And my grandfather said, and again, I'm not putting two to two together where Buckshot's going. I just know he's gone. And I guess I'm too young to ask questions. I don't know. I never asked questions. Well, one day we were sitting there eating hamburger steak or something. And my grandfather said, is your hamburger steak good? And I said, yes, it's so good. And he goes, that's Buckshot. And I was like, what? And he was like, you're eating Buckshot. And I was like, I ain't eating Buckshot. Buckshot's out in the pasture. And he was like, Judy, that's Buckshot. Okay, that was the first introduction of hamburgers don't come from the store. Okay. And I was like, I'm grew up in the city. I don't know what he's talking like. It's hard for me to comprehend that. Wait a minute. Buckshot is on my plate. I ain't eating this. And I was at the supper. So I remember like it was yesterday. I'm bawling my eyes out. I'm literally bawling my eyes out because I'm eating Buckshot. So then he begins to sit me down to explain to me where cow meat comes from. And I said, I'm never eating at your table again, ever. And I was serious. Like I was devastated as a kid when I realized that hamburger steak came from a cow. I freaking flipped my lid. I was like, no way. But I'm trying to think how old I was. If I had to guess, I was probably 8 or 9, maybe, when he told me that I was eating Buckshot. Well, not that we were going to eat Dexter, because we weren't. But I don't know, like it was just my grandfather thing, like me having a cow. I just wanted to name Dexter Buckshot. So I tried really hard to call him Buckshot and it just wouldn't stick. It would not stick. And I was like, he's not a Buckshot. His name is Dexter. Like his name is just Dexter. I can't force him to be a Buckshot. He's a Dexter. His name is Dexter. And so he was the next animal that we got. And let's see, what was after that? I think it was the pig. So a friend of mine that had a farm. She had pigs she had no idea her pig was pregnant. Okay. And it was a it, there's really no such thing as a mini pig, but this pig was tiny. Okay. It was a pot belly, but it was tiny. Well, to make a long story short, the mother went into labor. She didn't know it was pregnant, went into labor, and one of the babies got stuck in the birth canal. Okay. When you're a farm person and emergencies like this happen, it can be difficult. Like, it can be difficult because this is what she was faced with. People get farm animals not realizing that you're going to have large vet bills. You know, it's like, even a dog. Like, before you go get a dog, you have to understand that it has to have its shots, it has to have proper food, it has to have flea and tick medicine, it has to have heartworm medicine, and that can be very expensive. And sometimes people just go get an animal not understanding the cost that is involved in getting the animal. That includes your Aunt Judy. I didn't realize. I never dreamed in a million years that vet bills would cost as much as they do. And every year they go higher and higher and higher. Well, this particular girl, her look at this. Her pig went into labor and the baby got stuck in the birth canal. So then she was faced with, I've got to take this pig to the vet or it's going to die. And she didn't have any money. And she's calling me going, what do I do? Now, I don't know. Everybody's different, right? Like, everybody that has animals is different. Like, my brain, this is how my brain works. Okay. If I have a pig that is in labor and the baby is stuck in the birth canal and I don't have money per se sitting right here to have a C-section, because a C-section was going to cost like thousands of dollars. I want to say it was like $2,000. Okay. So this family that had this pig didn't have $2,000. So she's in total like panic mode because she doesn't have any money to go have this pig surgery. But when people get animals, they don't understand what is involved, especially when you breed them, because you breed an animal and you think best best case scenario. Like, this is how people think. Okay, not all people think this way, but some people think this way. And it was this, some people included me. Like, you go and you're like, I'm going to get this rare poodle and I'm going to get a male and a female and I'm going to breed them and I'm going to have 8 babies and I'm going to charge $1,500 a baby and I'm going to make my money back on these animals. Okay? That's what you think. And then what happens is they get pregnant and then all of a sudden there's a complication. And that money that you were about to make off the babies, now it costs you to have a C-section. So you're going to go upside down in these puppies. People don't plan like that. People, including me, I'm not calling anyone out. I've done it too. But with this pig, it's now going to cost, I'm guessing $2,000. I know it was a couple of $1,000s. Well, not only are you faced with a $2,000 vet bill, but the vet says it's going to cost $2,000 for a C-section and she may or may not survive. Then what do you do? You know what I mean? You're like, okay, I'm fixing to put $2,000 on a credit card and the pig may not even live. So she was faced with hard times. Okay. And I'll tell you what she did. Hang on. If you see me closing both eyes to do this, it's because there's a fact about me that you don't know. I'm blind in one eye and I can't see. So when I close my eyes to do one side of my makeup, it looks like a kindergartner's done it. And then I have to go back and fix it. Just a little fact about me. So anyway, she chose, I can't remember, she chose to let the pig die. And she didn't spend, but the pig had had 3 babies prior to the one getting stuck in the birth canal. And one of those babies was Freddie. God love him. So let's see if I can find, hang on. I don't know if I got a new phone and I had to wipe out all my darn pictures. Let me see if I can find it. One of those babies was Freddie. And the poor girl, God love her, she was in tears over losing her pig. Okay, here. Well, here he is. But he was smaller than that when I got him. He was about that big. Okay. Anyway, she lost the pig and she's left with 3 piglets. What would I have done? I don't really know because I have not been in that situation. I think I know what I would do. I think that I would have probably put the $2,000 on my credit card personally. But see, I'm not in her shoes, so I can't say what. But see, I think I would do that. But I think our business mind person, Shane, my right-hand man, would look at me and go, we're not spending $2,000 when this pig could die during surgery, Judy. And I would have been like, please, 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 I will have 5,000 tours to pay for this surgery. That would have been me. And Shane would have been like, Judy, we need to think this through. That is a lot of money when there is a huge chance that she's not going to make it during surgery. You see what I'm saying? So I can't say what I would do because I wasn't put in that position. So I think she did the very best that she could do, considering she had 3 children and being faced with hard times. I think she tried to make the best decision for her family. But anyway, she called me in tears and I said, can I help you with one of the piglets? And she said, please help me. Because she had a baby that she was breastfeeding on top of 3 piglets that had to be fed all night long. So I went and got Freddie when he was a week old. And I got a pig. That's where Freddie. So then y'all know the story. If you've been following me a while, I have a children's book about how my farm got started. And it kind of went like this. It was like I got Dexter, and then I got Freddie, and I looked at Shane. I said, Shane, Freddie's so lonely. He's so lonely, Shane. So then I got Shishi. And Shishi is the same age as Freddie. And then it's like, but Shane, Dexter's so lonely. So then we got Dee Dee. And it just kept happening, okay? So I got Dexter, then I got Freddie, then I got Shishi, then I got Dee Dee. Oh, I got the goats first. Got the goats, then Freddie, then Shishi, then Dee Dee. What came next? Of course, you know, in the meantime, I'm getting turkeys and more chickens and all that stuff, and ducks and rabbits. And then Leroy came next. That's who came next. And I said, Shane, can I have a mini donkey? And he was like, what what the crap are you doing? I'm like, I have no clue, but I'm enjoying my life. And I just ask you to just trust. I would say this to him every time. I'm like, I would get his hands like this. And I go, Shane, I need you to trust me. And he's like, Judy, why are you getting all these animals? I'm like, I have no clue, but I feel led to do this. And I need you to just trust me. He's like, I am tired of trusting you, Judy. Our farm is growing. I'm like, just trust me. Just trust me. And so we got Leroy. Oh my God. If y'all have not been to my farm, y'all, Leroy is a game changer. Okay. Leroy is the best donkey ever. I don't care. I know you follow other farms, and I know you're like, oh, such and such is donkeys. No, there is no other donkey like Leroy. I promise. Come meet him in person. Leroy used to come to the chicken side. And when people would come tour my farm, Leroy would tour with them. And if you're one of those people that have been to my farm when I first started doing my tours, you can vouch for me. Leroy would take the people from like all around my farm to meet the animals. It was the funniest thing. He was the tour guide, and people were like, is this donkey like the tour guide? I'm like, he is. He literally knew what to do. He would take the people that would come into the farm, he would let them love on them, and then he would take them around to meet the animals. It was hilarious. It was hilarious. It was hilarious until I learned my lesson. Okay, I don't know how long y'all have been following me, but I got geese, and I got them as a baby, like little baby geese. And y'all, I don't know if you know about geese, but geese kind of imprint on you when you raise them. So like I could walk around my front yard and they followed me everywhere I went. And when I would sit down, they would come and get in my lap and they would love on me. I love the geese. Okay. So I raised them myself. And then the first time I took them to the farm, I had them out there, and geese make this crazy noise. You know what geese make? They sound like, okay, well, I had Leroy. This was my first learning lesson, and it was awful. Okay. I had Leroy out there, and now Leroy is used to the chickens and the ducks. He don't bother them. He doesn't try to stomp them. He's great. He's the tour guide. He's never caused any problems at all. Well, I put the geese down for the first time. Leroy flipped his lid, and he ran over to the geese and he stomped one of them. And I literally died. I scooped the geese up. I didn't realize that was going to happen. But you got to remember, donkeys are protectors. So if they think there's a predator in the farm, they're going to kill it. You've probably, if you follow other farms, you've probably seen, well, I know Lester's ostrich killed a coyote. Donkeys are like that. Like if a coyote came in our farm, he is going to stomp the bejesus out of that coyote. Like nothing, a raccoon, nothing is coming in our farm. Animal wise, there's nothing coming in the farm. He is going to protect his herd. Okay. All those animals are Leroy's babies. So anytime he gets something suspicious, he flips his lid. So I didn't realize that would happen because it's never happened before. Well, he stomped one of the geese. I scooped those geese up as fast as I could, took them back to my house, and I had to run that one goose to the vet. Well, to make a long story short, this is another situation where you don't realize that you're fixing to get vet bills. But the vet said, he's broke his leg in half. The leg has got to come off. And this was my first experience with a duck or geese having one leg. And I said, can he survive? And he said, yes. I said, okay, well, I guess we're having surgery. So I had the geese, his leg cut off. and I began to do water therapy. I named the geese. Is it geese or goose? I guess I should say geese is plural. Goose. I named the goose Hopper because he hopped on one leg. Now, this was probably 2 years ago. Hopper made the news. The news came out to my house because I was doing water therapy with Hopper to teach Hopper to walk. I had to do water therapy with him like 2 and 3 times a day, and Hopper had a wheelchair. Yeah. Hopper was on the news, and he was the cutest thing. So he would sit in his wheelchair and he'd take that one leg and he would walk around with his wheelchair. And I was trying to build the strength in that leg to teach him to stand on one leg. And he was a champ. I was very close to Hopper. When you start doing therapy, what time is it? When you start doing therapy with an animal like that, you get so close to them because you're spending a lot of quality time with that animal to rehab them. So it's sad, but one day I had Hopper out there and he was just dead. And I was hard. And he had been on the news probably 2 days before he died. And I'll have to share the newscast with y'all. I'll try to do. I think it may be on YouTube. If you go to my old videos, I'm pretty sure you can find Hopper on his wheelchair in my old, like way before I even really become a YouTuber. So it's probably a train wreck video. But he was on the news. And then 2 days later, I go out there and he had passed away. And I was just devastated. And that's the thing that you're faced with when you have a farm is, you can spend hundreds of dollars on an animal to try to save their life, and then they may not make it. But it's a risk that you take when you get animals. So I learned real quick that Leroy had to adjust to new animals that come into my farm. Like any new animal that comes to my farm, they stay in the barn for a couple of days so Leroy knows they belong with us. When new babies are born on my farm, I don't even chance it. I do not chance it. It takes about 3 or 4 days for Leroy to go, oh, that's Dottie's baby. It belongs here. It takes a minute. Hang on a second. Well, kiddos, I have no more black eye, but I don't have on my blush. So anyway, so that happened, but I just kept getting animals, and it just kept. And I would look at Shane, and he'd go, "What are you doing?" Like when I got the alpacas, the last thing that I got was a sheep, and he was like, "I'm like, Shane, we have never gone backwards when I've made decisions." I'm pep talking him. Shane, I know what I'm doing. Judy, I don't think you know what you're doing. Shane, listen. If I figure out, this is what I said to him. If I figure out how to pay for these animals' well-being, their vet bills, and their food, will you please let me move forward? He was like, Judy, we can't afford this out of our pocket. Like, we're fixing to retire. Like, we don't need to be in debt. I'm like, if I can figure out how to do this, will you trust me and let me do it? And he did. I don't know why he trusts me, but he did. And I said, I'll figure it out. And I will say this. Since day one that I opened my farm for tours and I became nonprofit and I started doing all this volunteer work, it's amazing what happens when you, and I don't mean to throw my religion on you. I'm very, my page welcomes everyone. Even if you don't believe in God, you're welcome here. I do not judge anyone. And I do not think my ways are all right. So when I cast my, like when I talk and say things, I don't want you to think that you have to run because I'm religious. We're all welcome here. I want you to know that. Just because your beliefs don't line with mine doesn't mean we can't be friends, because I love you for who you are. Okay. I will never push what I believe on you. I talk about what I believe, but that doesn't mean that your beliefs have to line up with mine. I don't care what politics, Republican, Democrat. I don't care who you love. I don't care if you're a boy wanting to be a girl. You're welcome here. I will never judge you, period. You're welcome to my page. I promise you that. And I will take up for anyone, if any follower starts beating up somebody for their beliefs. I mean, I don't want you to push your beliefs on me, but I don't want to push mine on you. But you're welcome to my page. I love you for who you are. Okay, know that. Anyway, I believe in my heart that when something comes from God, it can't be destroyed. And I believe in my heart that my farm was not started by me, because I've never wanted a farm. So therefore, I really don't feel like I created this. I think I was just who God is using to spread his good news. That's what I feel like. I feel like, you know, I have lost many, I'm not going to say many. I've lost a couple of friends for my beliefs. And that's okay. And to give you an example, there was this kid in my community. He was a kid, and he was a boy, and there was this big article written about him because he always felt like he was born to be a girl. It doesn't make sense to me. Okay, first of all, I need you to know that. I don't understand that. If you're born a guy, why do you want to be a girl? I don't know. But it's not any of my business to begin to judge. I might have my opinions about it, but at the end of the day, I'm called to love. I'm only judged for what I do. But anyway, there was this article written about this kid that was going through the change or whatever. I don't forgot what it's called. But anyway, and he lives right down the street from me. And I sent him a message and I said, "You're welcome at my farm if you need a safe place to come." And suddenly I lost a couple of friends because I welcomed people like that to my farm. And at the end of the day, if I start casting judgments upon people and I say, if you, what are they called? Trans? If you're a trans, you're not welcome to my farm, because we're Christians here and we do not allow any of that in our farm. If I was to say that, wow, how judgmental would I be? You know, I don't understand it. I don't get it. But you know why I don't understand it? Because I ain't going through it. I don't have that tendency. I don't have the tendency to want to be another sex. I don't understand it. I don't understand it at all. But if I just throw down his throat that he's going straight to hell and that he's not welcome to my farm, then how do I just don't feel like that's right. So that's why I say everyone's welcome to my farm. I don't care. I don't care what you struggle with. I don't care what you look like. I don't care what you are. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I love you and I welcome you to my page and to my farm. And for anybody that doesn't believe that my ways are right, it's okay. It's okay. We don't have to talk about it really, at the end of the day, everybody's welcome to my farm. That's just how I feel. I have a lot of family members, myself and my family, that are gay or other things, and I don't judge them. I don't judge them. I just, you know what I do? I look within. What are my issues? What do I'm not, why, how am I big enough to tell somebody else they're going to hell? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's just me personally, but that doesn't mean you have to agree with me, right? You don't have to agree with me. But at the end of the day, I feel like that, um, you know how Lester says we're all survivors of something. I love that. I love that Lester says that. I think that is fantastic motto to go by, because we're all survivors of something, and at the end of the day, we all deal with our own crap. You know what I mean? So, like, who are we to judge other people? All right, guys, let me show you, because I have to show you. So that's how my farm kind of got started, and it just kept going. Shane had no idea what he was getting himself into the day he said, "Hey, Judy, let's get some chickens." Oh, he started all this crap. It ain't my fault. Okay. Wait, can you? Okay, wait. These are called frillbacks. I didn't have that color, okay? It's just going to show up at our farm. I didn't have that color. I needed it, okay? They're my favorite pigeons. Frillbacks are my favorite pigeons. So today, I'm trying to get my dad out of the house today, because he has been locked up in this house all week, and he can't drive. And so that's on me. So I'm going to take my dad today, and we're going to go get a pair of pigeons after I do animals. So thank you guys for joining me today. I hope that you enjoyed the story about how my farm got started. I greatly appreciate you being here. I thank you for I thank you. Majority of you that follow me, y'all don't just follow my farm, but you follow other people's farms. And I'll just tell you that I really appreciate you being a team player to all of us. It means a lot to us. And thank you for being a follower of mine. And thank you for watching this morning. I hope you have a great day, Becky. I love you. I am live today because of Becky. So thank Becky. I'll see you guys Monday. Monday, I'm going to be talking about Taylor Swift. You're like, what? Taylor Swift? Yeah, I'll see you Monday. We'll be talking about her and the way she does things. And I love Taylor Swift. I'll see you guys later.